Hello and welcome. In today's video I'm going to show you Ark's 3 best bugs. And just before we get into it, make sure to like and subscribe as it really helps the channel. In at number 3 is the Raasclark. Now you may think this thing isn't very useful until you actually really look into this creature, and you may have not even considered this creature as a tame for you to actually nab. These things are especially useful on PvP though, but I'll get to that in just a second. The Raasclark spawns on pretty much any map and can be found in cave regions, and in the case of a map like Raasclark, in the lava region of the map. And let me say, these things definitely look very creepy. But in terms of that PvP situation, what are you actually going to use one of these for? And these things are absolutely insane at raiding bases. Now at first you may not actually believe that, but trust me, these things are absolutely insane. If you didn't know, these things can break things up to tech foundations. Barely any Ark creatures can break tech foundations, but the Raasclark can. So it really is a PvP player's dream, and definitely worth a tame at some point. In at number 2 is the Mantis. Now you're probably a lot more familiar with this one, and you definitely know it as a tame that you probably want, as these things are great for doing any kind of resource harvesting and gathering. So they are more suited to a PvE environment. They would work in PvP, but PvE is definitely the prime for the Mantis. And as you can probably tell already, these things have a special ability up their sleeve, which also makes them quite good for doing bosses as well, especially the Manticore on Scorched Earth. These things can wield any type of melee weapon, that be swords, that be pikes, picks, hatchets, pretty much any melee weapon that you want these things to wield, these can wield. And they will take the abilities of that weapon and use it. On Raasclark, I like to harvest mutton with the swords equipped, as it is just a really quick and fun way to do it. It actually is a very fun harvester to use, but for example, you could use the sickle as well if you wanted to harvest some fiber, or you could use the pick for metal, etc, etc. Also, these things, like I said before, are good for bosses, especially the Manticore. So these things definitely do a very reasonable amount of melee damage. But you do have to pay something, their health isn't that great, and also the weapon durability is going to drain so fast when using one of these things. So definitely be careful and expect a weapon to break. And finally, in at number 1 is the Rhinoganatha. This thing is the most recent creature that has come to Ark, and it has really taken players by storm. These things spawn on the island and the Lost Island in any swamp regions. Here are the ones for the island, and here are the ones for the Lost Island. But the Rhinoganatha is really, really rare, and I actually use a mod called Creature Finder Deluxe to actually find my Rhinoganathas, otherwise it is an absolute pain. If you're on single player, you can always increase your dino count to get one of these to spawn, or you can use the command destroy wild dinos, and that will essentially destroy all of the wild creatures on your world, and then all of them will spawn back in, and there is a chance that a Rhinoganatha will spawn. I'm pretty sure these things are even rarer than the Giga. The Rhinoganatha also has a very interesting taming method, and if you were looking to tame one, I do have a very helpful tutorial on my channel. Firstly, you will need to kill a male Rhinoganatha to get the Rhinoganatha pheromone. After that, you're going to need to source yourself a tamed Bronto and have the resources that were just on screen 5 seconds ago if you want 100% effectiveness. Then essentially what you need to do is lure a female Rhinoganatha, net gun it, and then simply get it to a really low amount of health. I am using Awesome Spyglass here to see its health. Sadly, you won't have this in real Ark Vanilla, but you can use the magnifying glass if you do want to see its health and torpor. It just won't be as nicely displayed as this mod does it. And you really do want to get this thing really low. as low as you can, obviously, without killing it. Then you're going to want to feed the pheromone to your Bronto, and then you have to wait for it to get out of the net trap. After this, you can dismount your creature and just hold a weapon just to be sure, and then after that it will come out of the net trap and essentially impregnate your dino. Then after a period of time, the Rhinoganatha will pop out of it and you can simply tame and raise it. Very cool. And anyway, that is going to be the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you didn't agree with this list, comment your top 3 bugs down below. The Bloodstalker is probably a popular one too, and I will see you all later. Bye.